They say first impressions are everything. In the world of gaming, we often fall in love with the scenery before we ever meet the characters. We see breathtaking sunsets, neon-lit horizons, and golden palaces, and we think, I wish I could live there. But at GN, we've learned that beauty is often the ultimate deception. Behind those 4K textures and artistic masterpieces lies a reality so brutal, so soul-crushing, that you wouldn't survive a single day. Today, we're looking past the look and diving into the soul of these worlds. From cities that force you to smile while you starve, to foggy towns that turn your own mind against you, these are the top 10 gaming worlds that are a total nightmare to live in. Brace yourselves, because paradise is about to burn. Starting our list at number 10 is a world that redefined the first impression. When you first see Rapture, it's a breathtaking underwater masterpiece. Gold-plated walls, Art Deco neon, and the promise of a city where there are no limits to human genius. It looks like paradise. But at GN, we know the truth. Rapture is a watery grave. Living here means being trapped in a leaking, claustrophobic tube miles under the ocean. The air is thinning, the walls are cracking, and your neighbors are splicers, insane addicts who will tear your heart out for a drop of atom. There is no sunlight, no escape, and no laws to protect you from the monsters created by unchecked ego. It's a world where a simple walk to the store can turn into a bloody shootout with a Big Daddy. In Rapture, the dream of freedom became a nightmare of survival. It's one of the most beautiful cities ever built in gaming, and the absolute last place you'd ever want to call home. A golden cage at the bottom of the sea. But as we move to number 9, we swap the crushing pressure of the ocean for the neon-lit despair of the future. At number 9, we have the City of Dreams that quickly turns into a living funeral. Night City is the ultimate visual trap. From a distance, its towering skyscrapers and vibrant neon lights promise a future of infinite possibility and high-tech luxury. It's a photographer's paradise. But at GN, we look past the chrome. Living in Night City is a soul-crushing experience. Your body is a commodity, your privacy is non-existent, and the corpos own everything down to the air you breathe. Poverty is everywhere. Cyberpsychos can snap at any second, and human life is cheaper than a can of Nicola. It's a world where you don't grow old. You just hope to die as a legend before a scavenger harvests your implants. The contrast between the flashy advertisements and the rotting alleys is what makes this world so terrifying. It's a place that invites you in with a smile, only to sell your soul to the highest bidder. In Night City, the only thing brighter than the lights is the burning desire to escape it. A high-tech hellscape. Coming in at number 8 is a world that hides its horror behind catchy 1950s tunes and smiling mascots. The Wasteland in Fallout might look like a quirky retro adventure, but behind that Vault Boy grin lies a radioactive graveyard that never stops hungry for more souls. At GN, we find the reality of Fallout truly disturbing. Living here means every sip of water is a dose of poison, and every meal could be your last. If the radiation doesn't get you, the wildlife will. We're talking about roaches the size of dogs and death claws that can tear through power armor like paper. And don't get us started on the vaults, supposedly safe havens that were actually twisted human experiment labs. It's a world where the sun burns, the rain is toxic, and humanity is just a memory fading under a layer of nuclear ash. It's the ultimate irony. A world that looks like a vintage postcard, but feels like an eternal stay in hell. A desert of broken dreams. At number 7, we have a world that is hauntingly beautiful and utterly heartless. In The Last of Us, nature has reclaimed the cities. Lush greenery covers the skyscrapers, and for a moment it looks peaceful, like a world that has finally found rest. But at GN, we know that this beauty is a mask for a waking nightmare. Living here means living in constant, suffocating silence. One wrong step, one broken glass, and you're hunted by clickers, creatures that were once human, now twisted by a fungal parasite. But the infected aren't even the worst part. It's the people. In this world, A can of peaches is worth more than a human life, and your closest ally might betray you just to see tomorrow. There are no hospitals, no laws, and no hope for a cure. It's a slow, agonizing extinction where you aren't just fighting to survive, you're fighting to keep a shred of your humanity in a world that doesn't want it anymore. A green hell on Earth. At number 6, we enter a world where human life has zero value. The hive cities of Warhammer 40,000 are architectural marvels, vast, Gothic cathedrals made of cold steel that stretch into the clouds. From orbit, they look like monuments to power. But at GN, we call it what it really is: a meat grinder. Living in a city like Tertium means being one of billions crammed into toxic, sunless factory levels. You work 20-hour shifts, breathe recycled chemical air, and your only reward is a bowl of corpse starch, which is exactly what it sounds like. If the soul-crushing labor doesn't kill you, the plague-worshipping cults or the literal demons from another dimension will. There is no freedom, no art, and no hope. You are just a tiny, replaceable gear in a galactic war machine that doesn't even know your name. It's the ultimate industrial nightmare, a world so dark that even death feels like a promotion. A life of endless holy war. Breaking into our top 5 is a world where even the air is your enemy. The frozen landscapes of Metro Exodus might look like a hauntingly beautiful winter wonderland in 4K, but at GN, we know that every breath in this world is a struggle for survival. Living here means being hunted by more than just mutated demons. You are constantly fighting a ticking clock. If your gas mask cracks, you're dead. If your filter runs out, you're dead. You spend your life in cramped, dark tunnels or desolate radioactive ruins, scavenging for scraps of clean air and rusty bullets that double as currency. It's a world of permanent paranoia, where the wind sounds like a scream and every shadow hides a nightmare. What makes Metro so terrifying is how lonely it feels. It's a vast, empty graveyard where humanity is clinging to its last thread of existence. It's not just a world that's ended, it's a world that's still rotting, and you're trapped inside the decay. A cold, breathless hell. At number 4, we have perhaps the most beautiful world on this list, and the most deceptive. The landscapes of Stranding are breathtaking, filled with lush moss, majestic waterfalls, and a sense of calm that looks like a dream vacation in Iceland. But at GN, we know this world is actually a silent, agonizing hell. In this version of Earth, the cycle of life and death is broken. Living here means total isolation. The rain, called timefall, doesn't give life. It rapidly ages and rots everything it touches. Invisible creatures from the world of the dead, the BTs, haunt every corner. And the worst part? Any corpse left for too long becomes a nuclear bomb that can wipe out an entire city. It's a world where a simple delivery is a suicide mission. It's a hauntingly quiet apocalypse. There are no crowds, no laughter, and no safety. Just an endless, lonely walk through a world that is literally trying to pull you into the afterlife. It's a masterpiece of visual beauty, but a nightmare of absolute solitude. A gorgeous wasteland. Taking the bronze medal at number 3 is the city of Yharnam. At first glance, it's an architectural masterpiece. Towering cathedrals, intricate statues, and a hauntingly beautiful Victorian atmosphere that feels like a dark fairy tale come to life. But at GN, we know that Yharnam is a city that has traded its soul for a drop of old blood. Living here is a descent into absolute madness. The streets are stained with the remains of a civilization that tried to play God. As the sun sets, the hunt begins, and your neighbors transform into bloodthirsty beasts right before your eyes. But the monsters aren't the worst part. It's the great ones, cosmic gods from other dimensions who are watching your every move, invisible to the naked eye. In Yharnam, knowledge is a curse. The more you learn about the world, the more insane you become. It's a place where the air smells of incense and rotting flesh, and where death is the only thing that actually makes sense. It's breathtakingly beautiful and spiritually devastating. A city of blood and nightmares. But as we move to number 2, We look at a world where even feeling sad is a crime punishable by death. At number 2, we have a world that is terrifying because it forces you to be happy. Wellington Wells looks like a vibrant, colorful dream of 1960s England. The streets are bright, the music is upbeat, and everyone is wearing a permanent smile. On the surface, it's a paradise of joy. But we've seen behind the mask. In this city, reality is a crime. The citizens are forced to take a drug called joy to hallucinate a perfect world, ignoring the starvation and the rotting corpses in the alleys. If you stop taking your pills and your smile fades, the entire town turns into a lynch mob. It's a colorful prison where you're forced to laugh while your world falls apart. It's the ultimate fake reality. A world where the truth can get you killed and a forced smile is your only way to survive another day. It's visually beautiful, but spiritually hollow. And finally, at number 1, the most nightmare-inducing world in gaming history, Silent Hill. Unlike the other worlds on this list, Silent Hill doesn't just want to kill you, it wants to break you. It's the ultimate example of how a quiet, foggy exterior can hide the most twisted interior imaginable. What makes Silent Hill the absolute worst place to live is that it's a living mirror. It feeds on your specific guilt, your secrets, and your traumas. The monsters you see aren't just creatures, they are physical manifestations of your own mind. You can't run from them because they are you. When the sirens wail and the world shifts into that rusty industrial hellscape, you are literally trapped inside your own damaged psyche. There is no logic, no safety, and no escape from yourself. Silent Hill is the king of nightmare worlds because it turns your own soul into your greatest enemy. It's a place where the fog never lifts, and the nightmare never ends. It's funny, isn't it? We spend hundreds of hours exploring these places, admiring their design, and losing ourselves in their atmosphere. But the moment we look closer at the character of these worlds, we realize they are built on blood, madness, and broken dreams. Silent Hill taught us that our own minds can be the most terrifying prison, and the streets of Yharnam showed us that seeking too much knowledge leads to insanity. It makes you appreciate the boring, safe reality of the real world a little bit more, doesn't it? So, which of these worlds do you think is the ultimate nightmare? Or is there a game we missed that haunts your dreams? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to GN for more explorations into the dark side of gaming. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay sane, and we'll see you in the next one.